Hi, I want to talk to you for a couple minutes about animals liking to know what's going on, just like humans. Although some humans may not care, most people want to know if a family member is going into the hospital or going on vacation or if you're moving, or humans want to know this stuff. So do animals, our companions. And so here's a couple little stories. I'm teaching an animal communication class right now, my level two, more advanced class. It's a 3 month guided journey with the participants who are being encouraged to speak to each other's animals and other animals and just get lots of feedback and really get immersed into it. So one of the women in the class, we had a meeting. A lot of it's through email, but I'm also plugging the class here. But we also have a little meeting once a month, a Zoom meeting. And one woman said that she was going to speak to a colleague's dog. She had asked, she was very brave, getting out into the world and saying, I'm taking a class and could I speak to your animals? And it turns out the woman was going into the hospital soon. Um, and so the student said, well, could I speak to your animal? And the woman said, she had 3 dogs. Could I speak to your dogs? And the woman said, well, they know, they can feel the stress. So my response to that, which wasn't immediate, I then wrote it up later for the group, was sure they do. They feel the stress. That's all they feel is the stress. So how about you hire someone, because sometimes it's hard to talk to your own animals, even if you're like trained in doing it, um, so that you can give them the details. So what I encouraged her to do and what I do when people come to me to help with this is I tell the animal when the person is going to the hospital, and I show them days. I have a visual way of showing them. It's this many squares. This is when they're leaving and how many days. This is how many days they'll be gone. This is when they're coming back from the hospital. This is who will be taking care of you while, I mean, it may be that there's a whole family there and the animal won't really notice much of a difference. But that's what I ask the human. How much is their schedule going to change? What's going to be different? Is somebody coming in from outside to take care of them? Will they get the same walk schedule if it's a dog? Dogs want to know this, or horses. Kitties too. When am I going to get fed? They're always very concerned about their food. They say to me, will I get dinner? Yes, you'll get dinner. This is who will be feeding you. So, and then also, when is the human coming back? And if it's from a vacation, that's one thing. If it's from the hospital, are they going to be able to play right away, or are they going to need downtime and you need to be quiet and leave them alone? And same if it's another animal in the household going away, same thing. And when they come back, can you play, or are they going to be caged with a thing around their neck or whatever? Animals want to know this. And so I'm just telling you that many people don't recognize that it does make a difference. People will tell me after I've spoken to their animal and they hadn't had this service done before, the difference, and their animal was calm and everything was okay. They didn't get all excited and anxious, and they knew what was going to happen. Same thing like if they're going to the vet and anyway, this is about hospital. So here's a short story because I talk too much sometimes. Here's when this happened to me. Here, I'm a communicator and I forget to talk to my own animals, right? You've heard the story about the shoe cobbler, the fixer of shoes is the last one to fix their family shoes. Other shoes have holes in the bottom. So some years ago, but I've been a communicator for a couple of years. It wasn't that long ago. Maybe, well, anyway, I was a professional communicator. And I went to the hospital, an emergency. I just, ambulance came, got me. I had something horrible happen to my colon. I was just like bleeding out, and I was like, it was bad. And so I couldn't plan, is what I'm saying. I didn't tell my dog I was going to the hospital. I didn't know. It took me away. And we were living with my mom at the time, so that was the family. And so she was left with someone she knew who was going to feed her and walk her the way she'd always been cared for. Although I was always the one who did it. She was my dog, but my mom could take that over with not a problem. So after like I was in the hospital, I think 3 or 4 days, and after like 2 days, when I was well enough to think to ask for her. My mom had been visiting me, uh, or maybe she hadn't. She might have just been calling me. I was really sick. I was in the ICU. And so, but at one point, my mom came and I said, "How's Alika?" Thinking, she's happy. And my mom's face fell, and I went, "What?" And she said, she lays on your bed and cries all day. It's like, oh my God. So the hospital let my mom bring her. It was a very tiny hospital, rural hospital, really good hospital, really small. And one side was a hospital, it's 25 beds. And the other side was retirement home. That's not what I want to say, but it was for care for elderly ill people. And then there was a really nice lobby in between them. And so they let her come into the lobby. And she saw me, Alika, my dog, and she came running in and kissy and and she was fine. We went home. I was in the hospital for like 2 more days, and my mom said she was totally fine after that. Had it occurred to me to tell her, to connect with her, of course I was pretty sick. But if at some point I'd have come around and just connected with her and told her where I was and that I would be home soon, that I was okay, she didn't know I was just gone. She saw me taken out on a stretcher. So it matters. It matters. That little girl was crying for 2 days. She laid on my bed and cried. So please let your animals know what's going on when you can. And if something like that happens, have a family member speak to them or hire somebody to speak to them, because it really does make a huge difference. It really, really, truly does. Okay, I'll have more stories for you about this later. And also, we'll find out what happened when my student talked to the dog, see how that went, how the conversation went. Okay, take care. I'm Pam. I'm Pam Sorellis of Winged Horse Healing. Talk to you soon. Bye.